Hi, Gina with today's thought. And today's thought was the first one that I've posted in a little while. If you're a frequent visitor, you may wonder what happened. Well, I don't want to go into a long explanation right now, but YouTube gave me a strike for a particular video, and they suspended me for 1 week, and they would not allow me to post. Now, I'll give you a little more detail maybe at the end of this vlog, but I don't want to waste your time with it right now, or take your time with it right now. So what I want to talk about today is, well, the Trump campaign, frankly, is in trouble now. Since Kamala Harris was nominated, replaced Joe Biden, unceremoniously replaced Joe Biden, the polls have turned. They've turned, except for maybe one or two exceptions, have turned against Trump, not just nationally, but at the swing state level. The worrisome ones are Pennsylvania and Georgia. And Trump has a big problem. The biggest problem he has is that the media is totally on Kamala Harris's side. They are bending. You can see them bending over backwards to elect her president of the United States. She hasn't given any interviews. She doesn't talk away from a teleprompter, and she's not being called on it. All this negative news, anything negative about her, the way she flip-flops. She just said that she came out with no taxes on tips, right? And only the conservative media that I'm aware of are pointing out that that she's stealing Trump's policy. She's saying that she doesn't want to end fracking, though she's on tape saying that she does, and so on and so forth. And she's not being called on any of it. And she will not be called on any of it, except maybe in the debate. And I'm worried, which will happen September 10th, and I'm a little worried about that because it won't be Trump. He had an advantage. That he was debating somebody who has dementia in the first debate, Joe Biden. But the other advantage that he had was, actually that was supposed to work against him, but actually worked for him, was that his mic was shut. Each candidate's mic was shut off while the other candidate was speaking. So Trump could not interrupt. His mic was shut off. But if that's not the procedure for the next debate, then Trump has to resist the temptation to interrupt and to attack, and personal attacks. He's getting a lot of pushback. This is the problem that he's having. He's getting a lot of pushback from his campaign staff and from his supporters and the Republicans to say, stick to the issues, Donald, stick to the issues. I'm recording this a day after the interview with Elon Musk, and maybe you saw that. I mean, millions of people saw it. I'm recording this the day after, so the day before you're seeing this, or that was 2 days before you're seeing this. And for the first part of that interview, I cringed. I mean, I'm a Trump supporter, but I just cringed because Musk asked him about the assassination attempt, and maybe, that he was courageous and pumping his fist and so on and so forth. That merited maybe 30 seconds or maybe a whole minute of comment. And he just went on and on and on and was talking about himself, and that he wanted to reassure the people he was all right and so on and so forth. And that's the wrong way to go. He's got to stick to the issues. And he repeated himself several times, and he rambles, and he goes off on tangents, and a lot of them are about himself. We're saying about Kamala Harris, not criticizing her policies. I mean, he did get around to that sooner or later, but, I'm doing this interview and she's not doing an interview because she's too dumb and she couldn't do one. That doesn't help at all. And women don't, however true it is, women don't like that. They don't like other women being called stupid, even if they are. And it's different. You can criticize, you can call a man stupid, and that's one thing, but calling a woman stupid is something else. Or calling a woman, he hasn't gone that far, fortunately, as he did with, I think, other female candidates, but calling a woman unattractive, that is that's a landmine you don't want to step on. Just stay away from the personal attacks. So let's get to what does work. Now, I was looking at the issues of this campaign, a lot of the issues, well, inflation and defense, and that made me think of the 1980 election, which I obviously was old enough to vote. I voted for Reagan, okay, so that I went back both times. So I'm very aware of the campaign. He ran a very, very effective campaign, and Trump, if he's smart, will look at what Reagan did. Now, Reagan did, I mean, you talk about landslides in that 1980 election. Reagan won 489 electoral votes. 489 electoral votes. I mean, that election, and so 49 for Carter, that election was over almost as soon as it started. I mean, 489. So obviously you're talking about a very effective ad campaign, and Trump should look at what Reagan did, watch those ads, and imitate, do the same thing, do what Reagan did. And an especially effective ad was this one.
To preserve our peace and our freedom, we must maintain a margin of safety, not numerical superiority in arms and armament, but a margin of safety that is a combination, a balance of a strong economy, mutual respect and unity among our great allies, and a revitalized, up-to-date military capability. History has taught us only too well that tyrants are tempted only when the forces of freedom are weak, not when they're strong.
The time is now for Reagan.
What did you see there? Well, here's what you did not see. You did not see dramatic music. You did not see fancy graphics. Nothing clever. No announcer talking doom and gloom. Just Ronald Reagan sitting in a leather chair speaking directly to the American people. That is the ad campaign. I mean, run the other ads too, but that is a series of ads that Trump should do. And when I say series, this is exactly what I mean. Now, I'll put this up. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but just to show you, this is a list that was put out earlier when Trump won the nomination. This is the platform, 20 promises that Trump made. The 20 elements of his platform, the 20 things he will do or promises to do if he is president. That's the whole list. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but here are just the first 5. Seal the border and stop the migrant invasion. Carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. End inflation and make America affordable again. Make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. Stop outsourcing and turn the United States into manufacturing superpower. Now, imagine, this is my idea, this is my suggestion for the Trump campaign. Imagine Trump simply sitting in a chair talking, a series of 20 ads, each ad just showing Trump sitting in a chair for 30 seconds. That's how long that Reagan ad was, just 30 seconds, and telling describing one of these 20 promises. Here is my promises. I've made you 20 promises. Here is promise number 1. And then just talk about the promise just for 30 seconds. State the promise, talk about it for 30 seconds. And that's it. That would be the whole ad, plus a tagline at the end, make America great again. And then go on, and then another ad and say, okay, I made you 20 promises. Here is promise number 2. Number 3, number 4, number 5. Just go ahead and do those. That would be an incredibly effective commercial, because there are no ads that I'm aware of, Trump ads. Now, I do live in Tennessee, which is a state that obviously will go to Trump. So there aren't many. I haven't seen any campaign ads really, unless I see them on YouTube or something in Tennessee. So I can't really speak to what ads Trump is running. I don't have, because he's doing the smart thing. I mean, that's the obvious thing to do, is you run the ads in the states, the swing states. You don't run them in the states that maybe some of the blue states, but a few where you may have a chance to win. But you don't run ads in the states that are a total lock. It's just a waste of money. Maybe one or two just to keep, show the flag. But the point is that, as far as I'm aware, there are no Trump ads that are just Trump sitting in a chair and just speaking directly to the American people. We are not hearing from Trump directly, so you can have all these ads. It's not enough. It's not the same thing when you have Trump speaking at a rally and saying something. That is not the same thing as quietly speaking directly to the American people. That way you get to know Trump, and you get a whole, because he's very bombastic when he's speaking before a crowd, as most politicians are when they're speaking before a crowd. But you saw what Reagan did in that ad. When you're sitting in a chair and there's no music, no audience, you can very quietly speak directly to the American people. And to me, that ad, I lived through it in 1980, and I just told you, Reagan, 489 states. That's a bridge a little too far for Trump, but that is what is most important, to show a personality, to let people see Trump the way the campaign and Trump himself want him to be seen, and not it fights the caricature and it really is a caricature, because as I mentioned in the past, I lived in New York for 40 years, for almost Trump's entire career, and what you're seeing, the media portrayal of Trump is not the Trump I experienced for 40 years living in New York. And nobody talked about him or characterized him that way until he defeated Hillary Clinton. And you remember, even before the actual election, during the campaign, they were happy to put him. They thought it would be just for fun. They would, MSNBC, Joe Scarboro, they were happy to put him on TV. They thought he was just a joke, and look what happened. But they're not going to make that mistake again this time. So that's the thought for today. Now this is, so you can turn off now if you want to, but before I give you what I want to talk a little bit about why I was suspended, how stupid it is, but you may not be interested in that. So if you want to sign off now, if you could subscribe, that would really be great. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again, because I'd love to see all of you again. Now, I'm not going to say goodbye at this point. Usually I do. But just a word about my being suspended. I was suspended for, I guess they have these algorithms out there that pick up things. It was something that I said, a vlog I made 3 years ago in 2021, and they have, if you want to appeal, they say if you want to appeal, click this link, and I clicked the link, and I was expecting one of those boxes where I could, a field where I could type in why I thought they were making a mistake, and I would have said that, well, this is from 3 years ago, and it was about, I was criticizing something about the 2020 election, and I thought, in any case, you changed your stupid, well, I wouldn't have put a stupid in there, that's not diplomatic, but you changed your policy about criticizing the election, that it's okay to criticize the election now. So for those two reasons, why are you suspending me? So, but all I got was there was no box to explain anything. So it was just, well, we'll look at it again and let you know if we changed our mind. And they didn't change their mind. So I could not post for a week, and now I can. Now the thing is, if you're allowed 3 strikes, and then that's it, then you're out. Then they'll just close the account. So I've got 1, and what also might happen now, I won't find out, I guess, until I try it, but I think they told me, I don't know if it was temporary or permanent, but I can no longer put outside links. So I can't put, if I refer to an article, sometimes when I'm speaking, I put the title and a link, so you can read the whole article. I put it in the description, but they may not let me anymore put that link to an outside site. So you're going to have to Google it or something and look it up yourself, and that's unfortunate. Now, I understand that if you don't get any more strikes within 90 days, that has to be 3 strikes within 90 days. And after 90 days, if you don't get any more, it starts all over. Now, I don't know about the outside links thing, but the reason I'm mentioning all that, why I'm concerned about this one, is because that particular vlog, it was part 1 of a 2-part vlog. So they already picked up one with that title and gave me a strike. The other one has the there's one more with that identical title, that except that it says part 2 instead of part 1. So that would be a second strike. And if I get if that second one gets picked up, if it does at all, after 90 days, I guess it'll be okay, 1 strike. But why? Who cares about a vlog that I posted 3 years ago? That's what is so stupid about it. And I don't know. I mean, I'm always kind of on the edge, because I'll sometimes show. I don't think they're going to hurt me for a campaign ad for Ronald Reagan from 1980, and politicians want their ads to be seen by as many people as possible. But I do get some things where I've had ads taken down, thoughts for infringing on a copyright, and I've had a few that were very close. He said, well, this material is copyrighted, but the copyright owner lets people post it, so on and so forth. So that was it. I already told you, if you could subscribe, that's really great. If you're still listening, well, thanks for listening. And now this time it really is goodbye, and hopefully I'll see you again for the next vlog. And until I do, bye.